Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about what you guys asked me to talk about, which is the difference between off-plan and an already built house. Now obviously from the name is quite, obvious. Off-plan literally means like they are not done building, they haven't handed over, while a fully built place has already been built and has already been handed over. So what are the pros and cons for off-plan and that? Now, when people talk about real estate is broad, and I'm going to give an example. It's not literally about buying and selling a house. There's also a developing part to it. Now, what people do these days is that they get like they get plots of land. Let's say I am able to buy this whole a whole acre of land and I have it right. Now I get a developer to develop it. This developer will either raise money through friends and family, or they have their own personal money which is limited, or they're able to go and get money from bank. What I just know is that develop this, we're going to do like there's a word for it. Remember, I'm not a real estate expert. I just say these things from my own personal experience and what I have experienced and encountered, right? Which I feel like is the best teacher. So they have like an agreement, and the developer goes to raise the money and does that and builds it. So he says, okay, I'm going to build like 50 houses in this estate, and each will go for 250 million. Now, he has done the architectural work, he brings the 3D design, everything, and he gets his marketers. And the market is quite this. When this thing finishes, it will go for 250 million because it's close to this supermarket, it's close to this place, it's close, all the things that they sell with. But because we haven't started, we can go for as less as 150 million. And because we also haven't started, that 150 million, you don't have to pay in full. You can pay in bits. That's the selling part. Like they tell you that this is the percentage you can pay. And then after that, you start paying this. Or some will say 12 months, 18 months. They'll give you a payment plan. Now, sounds good, right? Now, as it gets higher, it increases. So, the goal at the end of the day is 250, right? So now they start with this. Maybe it's 3 floors. When they do the tiles or whatever, the first work, they'll make it 150. So those that bought that time will buy it for 150 and wait for the delivery. When they do more work, it will now become that amount. The more they do it, the more it increases because they now have the money. At first, they really need your money to start that project. But right now, they don't need it that much again. So the more it goes, the more the money increases. So you that bought it for 150, at the end of the day, when that house is done, it's probably like 250 or 300, depending on how much that goes. Now, what's the disadvantage? While on paper it sounds good, one of the major disappointments the major disadvantage is the disappointment. I've had more bad off plans than good off plan, which is what the delivery time. Most of them never deliver when they say that they will, because of what finances. So when they start, what they budgeted, what they have in place, right, is not. Things go up fast these days, inflation. So some of them didn't plan for it. They planned that cement will be this amount, then they'll come to market tomorrow. Everything has increased. Now, because they didn't get the right finance and they're using your money to finance it, they didn't get a chance to buy those things in bulk. If you watch a video where Stephen Ndoka was interviewing, I think it was Mr. Ned Okonkwo, you see how he said that we've bought things in place. So if you're not doing off-plan with that sort of person, you know that, okay, your delivery time has a more tendency of being the delivery time because everything has already been bought. So whether it goes up or not, he has bought those things already, right? So, but if you're dealing with a new developer that is still trying to come up and source funds, as inflation is, hitting everybody and hitting things, it's also affecting him, which can lead to delays in the project. Now, there's another factor like rain. Now there is climate change. We're in May, right? We're in May now, and it's already raining literally almost every day. I know a house that they've been trying to do the roof for the past 3 days. They'll climb up, rain starts, they go down. So these are some things that people did not plan. Right? That there'll be a time that it will rain for 7 days. That's a whole lot of delay. And also on the part of the artisans, the people working, because you know that these people working are paid per day. They are not paid per month. So these guys now that are working, you pay them for today. They come, rain falls, they're not able to work. You give them their money for the day. They go, regardless. So every time these things happen, you're losing days, right? Which can now affect the general, delivery time. Another disadvantage, some of them can go as much as 2 months, 3 months to deliver, delay, right? That's not it. Some have taken like 6 years. I'm talking 6 years for a house that they told you will be given to you in 12 months. What happens to you in that 6 years? You're paying rent. I have a friend that it happened to. So every year, so that's like out of her budget. She was just assuming that, okay, I'll buy this house. Now they will deliver in 12 months. So the whole of it, I don't have to pay rent. She even told her landlord to make it monthly. And you know that in Nigeria, we pay rent yearly. So if you're a yearly tenant, it means that they have 6 months to give you quick notice. If you're a monthly tenant, they have just a month to give you. So putting yourself at risk by doing monthly. So but when it got to the time when they're supposed to deliver, and she was like, oh, when it gets to that time, I want to start doing monthly. And it was all okay. She ended up paying monthly. The landlord ended up saying no, that they want a yearly tenant, and she had said that she would leave after some months, so they had already sold the house. She had to leave that place, rent another place, and you guys know what comes with renting a place means: legal, everything, moving out, everything that has to do with it. Now, all these things were not budgeted because she was hoping that she would move out in 12 months. Which did not happen, which 12 months became six years. I've seen people online as well complain that they now go for as much as 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and these people have not delivered the project. Some of them have almost become abandoned projects. Now, I learned about a new trick. I saw this on, I think it was on I can't remember. Yes, a YouTube video that somebody had dropped a comment to say, please, can you address this scam that is happening now online? I was like, oh, what's a scam? So I look into it and I see that some of these developers, when they started doing this project, they sold this house to you for like 80 million. They didn't, and then somehow, because of things that come up, there are things that make a place more, the demand got higher, and this place has now gone from 80 million to almost 200 million. Now, remember these figures, I'm just playing around with the figures. So greed, they come to you and they tell you that we can't continue, we will refund the money. And you're like, what? If I put that money 6 years ago, if I put it somewhere, even if it's a fixed deposit, I know how much I would have gotten. They will even go as much as saying, okay, it's fine, we can compensate you this amount. That's because they know they're going to make more money if they have to sell it. So of course, that's why you always have to have your lawyer and tighten your agreement. So if your agreement was all tightened and all, you can, whatever. I mean, it's a win-win case. In some cases, they have even sold it. And if you're own, because you have 90 days or so to close. So if they're not able to convince you or deceive you or whatever the case is, they now refund the buyer. So there's also like this scam now that is happening around it. So it's important that when you're doing this off plan, that you do it with reputable companies who have delivered, not on paper, not on Instagram, but you have seen them deliver their work. Another thing is the kind of materials that they use when they start losing money or when they can't make that money again, for all these like maybe upcoming developers that are just trying to get money here. My friend's house was eventually delivered and she spent a lot of money doing it up because it's as if they went to the market and they say, for doors, what's the cheapest? Let's go with this. Let's go with this tiles. Let's go with this ugly wall. I don't care. Let's just put it and say we have handed over. So you see, she had to pay more money doing it up. That's one huge disadvantage. When they don't have money, they start doing it anyhow, especially because they have already sold it to you at that cost. So they are not willing to even stretch, because no matter how they stretch, they cannot make more than what they have sold. You get, like, if they can even stretch knowing that, oh, when we are done, we'll be able to sell this thing for this amount. No, it's now your own. Another major disappointment is that these guys have the best 3D design. But what comes out later, you're like, what happened? What I ordered versus what I got. On paper, it looks so good. But when you now actually see the house, when they design it, they'll start giving you excuses like they later realized that they couldn't put this thing here, so they moved it here. They later realized that the swimming pool land was encroaching into someone else's own, so they made it smaller. They made the room like this, and you're like, this is not what you guys showed me on the brochure. Like, it looks nothing like that. That's another disadvantage, because if it's already done, it's easier for you to see it and say that, oh, I don't like this, or I want to buy it, or I don't want to buy it. So that's another very major problem with off plan. Off plan has a lot of documentation issues as well, which is this whole resell, sell issues. And then you now find out that you have so many hidden costs that they did not tell you about. A lot of people have fallen for this hidden cost scam. And by the time you come out, they also say, no, that money you paid was not just for this, because remember now you're a homeowner. So it's not just about your house. It's about, but I didn't know I was supposed to contribute for buying the generator. You guys were supposed to buy and hand it over to us, including a generator. So I had this place where I was that I complained about that. They kept telling me that the developer just gave them like a fairly used generator that wasn't good, and this generator was supposed to power the entire house, because in the entire compound, because generators were not allowed. And I was like, you guys allow this person to deliver this amount, and they've gone. You know, the thing is that when they deliver, they leave. It's no more their business. They've made their money. It's no more their business. They don't care. Now, the worst part is that I also had this place where the developer sold everything, including his own place. He didn't care again. He did not care, because when they have their own property there, they also try to protect their property, right? But the moment they sell everything, including their own property, they don't care. So this is mostly like a human being kind of issues. If you notice, like the issues that I'm talking about now is mostly human issues, you get. And now in terms of the delay, some of them don't even do the documentation. So as they are doing the house, they'll now come and seal the place. I don't know if you've gone around Lagos. Sometimes you see some houses that they were building and they haven't gone there in months because it's been sealed, because they didn't get the right approval. But they have sold it to people without getting the right approval. And because the offer is juicy, the people did not do their assignment, because you're like, this place is going to go for 150 and we're selling it to you for 40 million, and you have lose 40 million. You're just interested in paying. They even offer you their own lawyer. So it's like a legal thing. It comes with a package. So you now be like, what's happening? You go there, it's been sealed. Why they're trying to go back and forth and see how they can settle it. So imagine you had planned, maybe you're moving to Nigeria and you're planned that, okay, I'm going to be in Nigeria by December, I'm going to move into my house and all, and you come back to face this kind of issues. And for the people that say, what about building? Yes, building, for me, lands, before you even see land in Lagos again, and land is just always like, for me, just a major issue, something I'm not willing to deal with. But talking about the advantage of off plan now, this is where people that build like can also come in. If you're working with a good company, a good developer, you will also enjoy the process, because it's almost like you building. You get to go to the building, you get to see it. I have a friend that did up her place. It was off plan, and the developer was good. I mean, they didn't give them any issue. It was a trusted developer, stuff like that. But because it was off plan, it was almost like building, because she was part of the process. She used to go and visit the place, and you can alter things because they are still building. So example, she wanted wooden floor. So she was like, don't tile, just give me wooden floor. So it was easier for her than after doing anything, having to break it. She even changed the direction of her kitchen, the door, how it opens. It's different from her neighbor's home, because, it's like prototype. They try to build everything the same. But if you're there and if you want something like, let's say you want a French door, and that was not part of the agreement to give you a French door, it's fine. You can just bring it and there are people who already fix it. So you want a certain kind of lights, because the whole idea is that they're meant to deliver the basics, right? And then you can do it up. So because you're part of the process, it's easy for you to start buying your things and giving them to fix it and just tweaking things here and there. Like if it's supposed to be a 3-bedroom, it will still be a 3-bedroom. You cannot come and say, come and make it 4. No, it will still be 3, but you cannot decide that, oh, please, this place, I want here to be my working closet. I want my TV to face this side, unlike a house that's already been built and you just have to work with what they already have. Does that make sense? So yes, off plan can be nice, amazing. It can be more affordable if you do it with a company. My recommendation for off plan is that make sure that you have your lawyer and that you involve your lawyer before you even buy. No matter how juicy the offer is, involve your lawyer. Make sure you're doing it with a trusted company. Find around, like, what have they delivered? What did they say they would deliver? Right? Have they do they have the money already, or are they still yet to source for the money? And if you have the patience, then wait, because like I said, it can really be a good deal. Like, I know someone that bought a place for 70 million, and when someone else was trying to buy that same place because it was off plan, she bought for 70 million. When it was done and someone was buying it, the person bought it for 190 because they were done. You get, so off plan can be a nice way. The payment plans are flexible, especially in Nigeria where we don't get to see a lot of payment plan opportunity. Yeah. And they also have different kinds of off plan, by the way. They have the ones that haven't even started. All they are going to show you is the brochure. That is the one that you have to do your research very, 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 very well. You know, one tried to sell one to me one time, and then he told me the place is very close to mine, and they told me that it's just remaining one, that if I buy this one will be the last one. 4 years later, they haven't done anything there. Every time I pass there, I'm like, you dodged the bullets, because they're a new company. I was not going to risk that. They're probably still looking for money to do it up. You know what I mean? But like I said, there are different types. They're the ones that they have even started. You can see the progress, right? You can already see the progress that, okay, this is supposed to be like 50. They've done 20, and you will see it. Then they have the one that, like I said, the more they build, the more expensive it gets. Yes. So if you don't, and again, if you don't have the money for it and you're waiting for the money, because another thing with offline is don't make that commitment if you don't know how to complete the money. If they give you 12 months to pay oh, pay oh. In fact, you make sure you even have the money somewhere waiting for that 12 months. So it's just like, okay, I have the money, but I just want to split the payment. The consequence are, it's not easy. Especially if you're getting like bank loans and all, make sure that you're meeting up. So that agreement. And if you're doing off plan as well, make sure you have extra money from the money. So if you're buying the place for 40M, don't just think about 40M. Think about the other hidden expenses that will come out. Now, another big disadvantage with off plan is that because in an estate, this one is an estate, because it's an estate and it hasn't been built, the estate management hasn't come. I'm going to go deep into this in the next video, right, of what personally happened to me. So because it's new, they haven't fixed the amount. You don't know how much they will charge when they are done. Yes, I saw a place I really liked. They just started, and I asked how much is service charge. They said for now they are just paying, just called one amount of money. I said that's just what they are paying for now, because they just started, so they haven't put things in place. They haven't even bought a generator. So right now people are just using their own inverter because generators are not allowed. But because it was quite affordable, people still like agreed, because they know that at some point they will set it up. What if after setting it up, they tell you that service charge is 400,000 a month? What will you do? I mean, for me, that's like that huge disadvantage. So if you want to do off plan, which for me, I wish they could have more off plan, because it's a better opportunity for young people to own their own homes and to also feel like they are part of that building process of seeing what they are about to buy happen, and it gives them the opportunity to save money so that you're not putting everything, that you have at once. So it's really good. But, like I said, please make sure you're doing it with only trusted companies. And the thing is, like, those trusted companies can be expensive, which is better. But if you're lucky, I have a friend that told me that he gambled it. If you have money to gamble, I just tried it. I tried it with a new company and it worked. And, they delivered when they said they would deliver. But those guys they just wanted to try it out themselves as well. So he said that one of the things he did was to make sure that the amount of money, so they'll show you something, said that like a proof. So let's say to build the place is 2 billion. They will show you proof of funds to show that, okay, they have even raised this amount of money, and that he tried it though, that it worked, but that he won't try it again. So it's what do you call it? It's a gamble. It's something that like you can do if you have a timeline. I'll suggest you don't do it. If you have to be like, okay, I have to be in this thing by this time. I must move into my house by December. Then go for an already built house. Obviously, again, the advantage of an already built house is that you get to see all the issues firsthand. If there's something you want to continue, if there's something you want to go ahead with, you're sure that they have dealt with, nothing like closing of the place. You get what I mean? Because it's already done. That's that like it like you don't get the government sealing it. Yeah, another thing off plan is please check that, do your check, do your check on the land, do your check on the area, what that area is about to be in the next 4 to 5 years. Is a commercial area, is a business area, so that you don't just buy a house because interest, and then in the midnight you're hearing people doing party like they're dancing the noise because you went to buy a house close to a club or something like that, or close to a commercial area. You know how it is. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section. I will not say go for off plan. I will not say go for nearly bills. I will say if you listen to this video, whichever one works for you, it's not a black and white thing. It's not. There are pros and there are cons, so it depends on you. Choose your poison. Yeah. My name still remains Sarah Donald, and let me know, show me love in the comment section by dropping a like or something. Subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what you guys think about this video. And if you want me to make any other video tailored to moving to Nigeria, or just my 2 cents on anything, please do let me know. Thank you and stay blessed.